back to Premiership predictions, the final weekend of games before the World Cup starts just next week now. And it's going to be really interesting how players who are taking part in the World Cup go about this weekend, because, the last thing they want to do now is get injured. It's every player's dream to play in a World Cup. And I'm sure if anyone has any niggles, any knocks, not feeling 100%, how they'll go into this game. Of course, they'll want to do well for their clubs, of course they will, but I'm sure in the back of their minds, whether they'll go into 50-50 challenges, whether they'll be 100%, competitive going into the game, and it could affect maybe some of the games this weekend. Maybe I still think it'll be a decent weekend, but I'm sure some players will definitely have that in their minds going into the game. Because any injuries now, basically could rule them out of the World Cup, because there's no really rest now after this weekend's games. Basically will be going straight into their camps for their national teams, and then starting the World Cup next week. So I think players will be a bit more wary than normal. Won't be surprised if there was less yellow cards, less tackles than normal this weekend. But hopefully there'll still be a lot of goals and still a lot of talking points from the weekend. Like last weekend was there were some crazy results, some crazy score lines, and it was really hard to get any predictions right last week. To get 5 results, but none of them were perfect. Just some notable ones where Leeds 4, Bournemouth 3, and there was also Wolves 2, Brighton 3. And then even like Palace going to West Ham, that was a bit of a surprise, because West Ham's not got a great away record. So some really hard games to predict last week. But hopefully this week I can do a lot better. So let's get on to the first game. So the first game this weekend is the early kickoff, and it's between Manchester City and Brentford. Man City are in second, and Brentford are in 11th coming into this game. Man City just showed last week how good they are. They went down to 10 men in the first half, and it looked like they were going to only come away with a draw. It was 1-1 until literally the last minute, and then they got a penalty, and of course Haaland came off the bench and scored that penalty, and they still had like 70% of the ball, I think, or something like that. It was crazy for a team that were down to 10 men. They basically still dominated the game. And I actually did say, even the first half where they went down to 10 men, I said they'll still win this game because they're just such a good team. And the man down didn't really affect them too much. And that's why I think for me they're going to be champions this season, currently in second behind Arsenal. But I think they will, win the league this season. Like probably most people think that as well. And the scary thing is, Haaland's back now, and he's not actually in the World Cup either, so he's going to get a nice little break now. After this game, he'll have 4 or 5 weeks off, refresh himself, and then he can, probably be even better in the second half of the season if that's even possible. So that's a bit of that's a bit scary for the rest of the league, really, that someone like Haaland can have a nice little rest and then be back, ready to kick on for the second half of the season. Brentford coming to this game, we're not great form, no wins in 5, and 4 of those in the league, and then they also lost in midweek. They got knocked out by Gillingham on penalties, so that was a very disappointing result. I'm sure they would have wanted to get a win there, because obviously they haven't won for so long. They would probably want any kind of win would have been nice. So to get knocked out by Gillingham, a team who are a couple of leagues below them, that was a very disappointing result, and I don't see them coming to Man City and get anything here. Again, Man City could, with them playing first this weekend ahead of Arsenal, and go back to the top, put a bit of pressure on Arsenal for their game this weekend, and I think this will be a quite comfortable win. I think I'm going to go with Man City 3, and I think Brentford might get 1 goal. So I'll go for Man City 3, Brentford 1. So the next game this weekend is 2 teams who are next to each other in the league. Bournemouth, who are in 17th, and Everton are in 16th, just 1 point separates them. These 2 teams actually just met in midweek in the Carabao Cup, and Bournemouth came out of that game with a 4-1 win, and a much needed win actually as well, because in the league they've not been great of late. No wins in 5, 4 losses and 1 draw, and especially in their last 2 games they were really disappointed because they were 2 goals up against Tottenham and lost 3-2, and then last weekend they were 3-1 up against Leeds and still ended up losing 4-3. So yeah, they are conceding a lot of goals. They've actually conceded the most goals in the league this season with 32 goals. So yeah, they need to stop doing that, or they could be down in the bottom 3 at the end of the season. They have a good record against Everton though. They won their last 3 games, so they'll be confident of coming to this game, because of course they've won the last 3, and I'm sure Everton are not playing with any confidence at the moment. Everton, have failed to score in 4 of their last 5 games. I think that's a big factor of that. I think is Calvin Lewin not being there. He got injured last week, and I'm not sure who will fit for this week. And yeah, that's been their problem with scoring goals, Everton, really, this season. And Calvin Lewin is their best striker, and without him, I don't see where the goals are coming from. But my score prediction for this game, I think Bournemouth are going to make it 4 wins out of 4 against Everton, and I think it will be Bournemouth 2, Everton 1. So the next game this weekend is Liverpool up against Southampton. Liverpool had a great win last week at Tottenham, a much needed win as well, really, because they lost the 2 games before that, and they were drifting away from that top 4. But yeah, they really needed that to make sure they still had a chance of competing for that top 4 this season. And they're coming to this game full of confidence, but it's these types of games this season where where they've basically not won. It's Leeds, they lost to Forest, so they'll be a bit wary coming into this game against Southampton, despite that win last week, especially now because Southampton have got a new manager. So maybe they'll get that new manager's bounce. Not in great form. Only 1 win in 5, but with a new manager, as you saw last week with Aston Villa, sometimes that new manager can give that players a boost. But they don't have a great record at Anfield though. Liverpool have won the last 9 out of 10 games. So I think that will carry on this weekend as well. Despite the new manager, I think Liverpool will win by 2-0. So the next game this weekend is Nottingham Forest up against Crystal Palace. Nottingham Forest still bottom of the table, despite getting a last-minute draw last week against Brentford. Much needed that as well. They want to start getting wins soon. They're only still 2 wins this season. Got a good win in midweek though in the Carabao Cup. Beat Tottenham, and they want to maybe build on that now and carry that into the league. They could possibly come off the bottom this weekend if they can get a result, because the 2 teams above them, Wolves and Southampton, both have tough games this weekend. So this would be a good chance for maybe Forest to climb off the bottom this weekend. But up against a Palace team who have got 3 wins in 5, great away win last week at West Ham. The first away win for a long time. So they'll be confident coming into this game. This is actually the first time these 2 teams have met in the Premier League. Of course, all the other games have been down in the lower leagues. I think this will be a close game, but I've got a feeling after that midweek win for Forest against Tottenham, they'll come into this game with confidence, and they might just sneak this. I'm going to go with a Nottingham Forest 1, Crystal Palace 0. So the next game this weekend is Tottenham in 4th against Leeds in 12th. Despite their positions in the table, it's actually Leeds who are in better form at the moment. Won their last 2 games. Great win at home to Bournemouth last week after being 3-1 down. And then of course the week before they beat Liverpool at Anfield. So they're in better form than Tottenham, who had a bad defeat last week against Liverpool. And also they had a defeat in midweek in the Carabao Cup. So 2 defeats in their last 2 games. And then even before that, they were lucky to beat Bournemouth, after being 2-0 down. And they've not been playing well this season at all. And it's starting to catch up on them now as well, because now they are losing games. Early on in the season, even though they weren't playing well, they were still winning games. But now 2 defeats on the bounce, so they really need to bounce back in this game. But it'll be a hard game against Leeds, who are in good form at the moment. But Tottenham have won the last three of the last four games in this fixture, and I think they'll carry on that good winning streak in this game as well. I'm going to go with Tottenham 3, Leeds 1. Next game this weekend is West Ham up against Leicester. These two teams are right next to each other in the league, and then also level on points with 14 points each. So yeah, nothing really separates them. Saying that though, Leicester come into this game in better form. They've won 3 out of their last 5, whilst West Ham have lost 3 out of their last 5, including a home defeat last week against Crystal Palace. So yeah, Leicester will be more confident coming into this game. However though, I think this game will end in a draw. I think it will be West Ham 1, Leicester 1. So the next game this weekend is in-form Newcastle up against an out-of-form Chelsea. Newcastle now are third in the table after last weekend's games, and yeah, each week I think their chances of getting that top 4 are becoming stronger and stronger. You know, they're playing with great confidence. You know, players are in form. I don't think things can change, of course, but right now I think they've got a great chance to get in top 4. Especially because no team below them is putting in any kind of form on a regular basis like they are. You know, they're winning games week in, week out. Still only 1 defeat this season. So if they keep this up for the second part of the season, I think they've got a great chance of getting top 4 this season. For Chelsea though, their chances of getting top 4, are starting to slip away in the past few weeks. No wins now in 5, and they've lost their last 3, 2 of those in the league, and then also 1 in the Carabao Cup against Man City. And it's not great times for Chelsea at the moment. Really need a win badly, and they do have a great record against Newcastle in the last 6 games. They've won 5 out of 6. However, though, this is obviously a different Newcastle team. It's a better team with better players, playing with confidence. So I wouldn't look too much into that. And I think they're going to carry on with another win here. I think it'll be Newcastle 2, Chelsea 1. So the next game this weekend is Wolves against Arsenal. These two teams are at different ends of the table. Wolves down there in 19th, and then of course Arsenal are top of the league at the moment. Wolves, only 2 wins this season, and also they got the fewest goals. So see what their problem is this season, scoring goals. And they've got a new manager now that'll come in after the World Cup. But for now, they still have the caretaker manager. I can't see things changing that much. They got a good win in midweek in the Cup against Leeds. But this is a very tough ask, against an Arsenal team who are in great form. Did lose in midweek in the Carabao Cup, but I don't think they'll be too disappointed with that, because things are going great in the league. Great win at Chelsea last week. I had a feeling they might go there and win, and they did. And to go over to Chelsea, I know they're not in great form, but still that's a great result. And still top of the league. And I think they're going to win this game quite comfortably, actually. I'm going to go with Wolves 0. So the next game this weekend is Brighton up against Aston Villa. Brighton have had a great start to the season, currently in 6th position. And what a start for Brighton. No one really expected them to be in the top 6 at this stage of the season. Even after losing their manager, Graham Potter, they had a few games after that where they didn't win that many. But, they've lately, the last couple of weeks, they've won 2 games now in the last couple of weeks. So they're coming into this game with their confidence, and they can get another win here before the break, cement that top 6. That'll be great for them. I don't think they're going to stay in the top 6. I'll be very surprised if they stay there. But I think if they can get, maybe top 10, I think that's a great season for Brighton. For Aston Villa, of course, in 13th at the moment, but now with a new manager. And you saw that new manager's bounce last week, beating my team, Manchester United, fully deserved the win. As I said last week, I was a bit nervous about that game. Despite I did say Man U win, but I was a bit nervous that Villa could get something out of the game, and they did, and proved me right as well, because it always happens, when a new manager comes in, especially at home as well. The fans are up for it. They'll be happy now. They wanted Gerrard out. They've got a new manager and a very experienced manager, and someone that will get the best out of these players. For me, Villa were too good to be in that relegation zone. They just needed a decent manager there, and now they've got that. I see them definitely climbing up the table, probably mid-table, maybe even top half. I'm sure they'll want to carry on with another win here after last week. It'll be tough though. Brighton, as I said, are in good form, doing really well this season. So this is actually a tough one to predict actually. But I've just got a feeling that Villa will carry on from where they left off last week with another win here. So I'm going to go with Brighton 1, Aston Villa 2. So the last game of the weekend and the last game before the World Cup is Fulham against my team, Manchester United. Fulham have had a really good start to this season, currently ninth. No one really was expecting that, after the first season back in the Premier League. And they're really unlucky to lose last week, actually, weren't they? They played City, of course, and it was just 2-1 in the end. But it was a last-minute penalty, of course. They did have a man up, but as I said before, it was Man City, and even against Man City, even if you've got one more player, it's still going to be hard. But they'll be very disappointed, especially because of this last-minute goal from the penalty spot as well. But however, saying that, they'll be still happy with how things are going, ninth. And if they can cement that, a bit like Brighton, no one really expected them to be, up there, this high up, this far in the season. But if they can get top 10 this year, I think that's a great season for them. And I think they've got a good chance. I don't know about European football. I think that might be a step too far. But if they can get top 10, I think that's really good. That'll be a really good season for them. For Manchester United, we had a really bad defeat last week, didn't we, at Aston Villa? We played really poor, and just couldn't get into the game really. After the first goal, I thought, when it went 2-1, I thought maybe we could get into this game, but then we conceded another goal, early on in the second half, and then from then I just couldn't see I was getting anything out of the game. We need to see a bounce back. Our last defeat when we lost to City, we went on a good run after that. So I want to see the same now from this team, and hopefully we can. The team news. So we made actually a lot of changes in midweek, so it was good to actually freshen it up. Marsnes, Luke Shaw, David De Gea, Ericsson, Casemiro, all on the bench. Most of them came on, but only for 20 minutes or so. So they had a good rest. So that was good to see. All those players, played a lot of football this season. So I thought it was a good chance to give them a little rest. And so it was good to see that. My forward three now. It was great to see Martial back for this weekend, in midweek against Aston Villa in the Carabao Cup. Got a goal, played 60 minutes, and hopefully now he's got no injuries after that, and he'll be ready for this game, because for me, he's definitely our best number 9. He's better at holding the ball up, he's better with linking the play. We also saw in pre-season what he did with him, Sancho and Rashford. I think definitely without a doubt he's got to be leading the line if he's fit. And either side of Martial, it's got to be probably the most informed players out of our forwards at the moment. That's Marcus Rashford and Garnacho. Garnacho came off the bench in midweek against Aston Villa, and he was so good. He was just attacking people, causing so many problems. Getting free kicks, a great assist at the end as well for McTominay. The only thing he probably was missing was a goal. He really deserved the goal. He's done really well in the last few weeks now, and I think without a doubt he deserves to be in the team. I'm not going to put too much pressure on him because he's still young and stuff. He's still got lots of things to learn, but he's with great players, and I'm looking forward to seeing more of him now for the rest of the season. I'm not sure if he's actually going to the World Cup with Argentina. It'd be great for him if he does, but if not, it means he can stay back here and work on stuff, and I can't wait to see more of him this season. The only thing I would say though is, with him and Marcus Rashford, I expect them both to be in the team just because Sancho and Anthony are both out. And for me, both of them are best on the left. That's their best position. However, if they're both in the team and obviously Martial's playing as well up front, then one of them's got to go on the right. It'll probably be Marcus Rashford. And that's the only thing, when you play Marcus Rashford on the right, you don't see the best of him. That's the annoying thing, but they both deserve to be in the team. So unless he changes formation, you can't see that happening. He could go 2 up front, and then maybe bring in someone else, or even put Fernandes on the right that he's done in the past. He could do that, but I think he'll probably just play Rashford on the right and Garnacho on the left. If Martial is is fit enough to start the game. It was also great. It would also be great to see Bruno Fernandes back in the team. We missed him so much last week. He's such a good leader, a great player, of course, as well. I think he'll be back in number 10. He played on the right, and he did a good job actually in midweek. He did a really good job out there. He's got a great delivery on him. So he got a great pass, and he's really good at that. He's not really going to take on people and stuff. But I always like him when he's number 10. That's where you get the best out of Fernandes. Of course, he'll do a job on the left or right, but for me, if you want to get the best out of Fernandes, he's got to be number 10. I don't see no reason why he wouldn't play in number 10 this weekend. Especially if we have Rashford, Martial, and Garnacho all ready to play. He'll be back in his number 10, so that'll be great to see. The only other one we probably have to make a choice on is decision on is the right back, because Delo's going to be suspended now. It's going to be interesting because Delo's played every game so far this season, and you would not have to replace him. And luckily, because we haven't really got a proper right back, Wan-Bissaka's, I don't know what's happening with him. I thought he would have played in midweek. He wasn't even on the bench, so I think he's definitely going to be going probably next transfer window. So the options are Marcelo, who's a natural left back but can play right back, or Lindelof can also play there. But I think it will be Marcelo. I actually hope it's Marcelo, because if it's Lindelof, then we know it probably means that Harry Maguire is going to be in. And honestly, I don't want to see Harry Maguire anywhere near his starting 11. In midweek, he was so poor. I know he's a bit rusty, maybe after after not playing for a long time. Not playing week in, week out, but I wouldn't even blame that on match fitness. He was just sloppy, the passes, rushing out of defence. He was actually probably lucky not to get a red card in that game. He was so poor. I would actually hope it's Marcelo on the right, and then Lindelof and Martinez as the partnership in the back. But anyway, my score prediction for this game, I think it's going to be really close. I can't see much in it, but I think we might just sneak it. I hope we just sneak it, and I actually think we will just sneak it as well. I'm going to go for Fulham 1, Manchester United 2. So that's all my score predictions for this weekend. Hopefully I can get a few right, but most importantly, Manchester United get a win on Sunday. I'll be back after the game against Fulham. I'll do my post-match reaction after hopefully we've got 3 points. And then, next week, of course, it's the World Cup start. So, we're getting looking forward to that. I'll do my England team. And then, also probably do some predictions on who I think will maybe win the World Cup. Also who will qualify from the groups and all that kind of stuff. So I'll be back to do more videos next week. But in the meantime, guys, have a great weekend, and I'll see you on the next one. Thank you.